the 2-2. Punched out and past the diving Edman into right field. 1 run scores. 2 runs score, and the Phillies have come.
And with that, gentlemen, your Philadelphia Phillies came all the way back in the 9th inning, scoring 6 total by the end of the inning to take the 1-0 series lead. Phillies 6, Cardinals 2. Joined by Big Al, Joe Marks from the Patterson Athletics. Welcome back to the Fight and Smile here on the Edge of Philly Sports with your boy, Matty B. And boys, how you feeling?
I'll tell you, about 8 innings, I was feeling quiet. 9 innings, brown pants came out. I was all over the place. I ran around the studio like you can see the pacing marks going around. I was one side of the studio. I was the other side of the studio. I'm yelling. I'm screaming. Throwing my hands in the air. My wife was with me. I think she remembers why she doesn't want to hang out with me during sporting events, especially playoffs. Guys, 11 years ago today, the Phillies were playing St. Louis against Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina, and it didn't turn out that well. But today we are up 1-0 in this series of 3 in this wild card series. And I'm not going to sit there. I think all of us were very excited going here. It is a very winnable series, and I'm not looking ahead. But, I mean, if that doesn't kick a team while they're down, I don't know what else does.
You know, I knew this was going to be kind of a pitching game, especially with the matchup. And it was for a lot longer than I thought it would be, actually. But when that 2-run home run went over the fence, I was just like, But I'm like, okay. And I said this before, with this team, for whatever reason, when you would automatically can count them out when we had Girardi, under Thompson, it wasn't that. I felt like, okay, we got a chance. And walk, and then, walk, and then, a hit. And it's like, okay, this is getting interesting now. And like Al said, for 8 innings, it was very ho-hum. And then the 9th inning came. I'm standing up. My daughter's home because her birthday's this weekend. And it's like she gets launched up into the air, and she's like, what is happening right now? And I'm like,
Joe Marks is throwing babies.
Yes. Please do not call children. Don't call the Department of Family Services, please. She's safe. She's like screaming in the background for dinner. But yeah, I mean, it was exhilarating. And if this isn't a way to kick off this playoff run, this Red October, boy, I am looking forward to what comes next.
Gentlemen, I echo your sentiments, but as you have already alluded to, there were 8 innings of baseball that came prior to that 9th inning, and boy, was I about to actually, you know what? I wasn't. I was very calm because this, to me, the first 8 innings of this game was very reminiscent of what the 2022 Phillies season had been. No production at all from the top of the lineup. What were they, 0 for 12 at one point with like 4 strikeouts? Kyle Schwarber came up small with they had some opportunities. They had a runner on second, nobody out, couldn't get a run in. They had first and second with 1 out, couldn't get runs in. It was becoming very reminiscent of the season. But Zach Wheeler along the way was plowing down runners, and then Yepes hits that home run. I'm not going to lie to you, gentlemen. I'm preparing to be down 0-1 because I didn't see that same fight from this team recently. I saw it back in the summer. That fight went away from me later on in the season, especially on the stretch. So I wasn't looking like, and I am pleasantly shocked about the comeback today. And maybe there is something to Rob Thompson. I don't know.
No, there's definitely something to Rob Thompson. I don't think that's a question at all. I mean, just even if they came in here and got swept this whole season, what a turnaround from Girardi to Rob Thompson. But, I mean, this team has what you want in a playoff team fight. In baseball, you have to remember it's easy to get down, but you have to remember there's no time limit. This game can go 14 hours if you want to. One question somebody asked me today, and I didn't have the answer, but I'm guessing it's a no. But there's no zombie runner in the extra innings, right?
No, it's straight up old school.
Yeah. All right, so this could go on for a long time. So it's exciting. Way to go, Phillies. What do you think about tomorrow night? Do you think they can do it? Absolutely. I mean, listen, Aaron Nola, if he pitches anywhere as close as he did against Houston, this could be a definite Phillies game. But I mean, it gives you a little bit more comfort, I guess. I hope they don't get too like, oh, we have 2 games now. I would like to put this to bed tomorrow and enjoy just Eagles Sunday.
Yeah.
Because if I have to go to a Phillies game late night on top of an Eagles game, I may have to be calling out of work because I'm not feeling too good.
And that would be back to back because that's a 4:30 kickoff and like would be an 8 o'clock first pitch. So yeah,
it's good television.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Now I don't want to sound like the cop out or the excuse artist here, but you know the next 2 games are both night games, and I feel like the first 8 innings that you have a lot of sight lines that get disturbed by the sun and the way that the shading happens and whatnot. You guys think that had much to do with some of the big time struggles because some of that sun and the shading kind of faded away towards that 9th inning?
Listen, it doesn't help. Both teams have to deal with it. When a guy's throwing sinkers, the one guy's throwing like a 90 mile per hour, 95 mile per hour sinker right at your yeah, that makes it a little harder. But you know, it's the top of the lineup. You still have to worry about a little bit. You need these guys not to. The odds of this happening again at all in the rest of the postseason are slim to none. So we need to see a game from them where they can string a couple hits together. I mean, both teams didn't do it. St. Louis, you know, was quiet until that 2-run home run, and then they just thought they were on cruise control. I'm actually blaming this. If I'm looking for a person to blame, and I'm a St. Louis fan, I'm looking at management. I don't understand why you leave this guy in there as long as you did.
Yeah.
Yep, that was a lot to ask for him. A dinged-up closer to go 6-inning save here in the postseason. I agree. And Frank Finnegan, that name sounds familiar. I think I know him. It's been a long time since the Phillies postseason win. Frank, it's been 11 years and 3 days. The Phillies' last postseason win was on October the 4th, 2011. It was a 6-5, I believe, over the same St. Louis Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, there was an interesting stat that was said. The Cardinals were 93-0 when up by 2 runs or more after the 8th inning. Now they can put a 1 in that loss column.
And then this is also the largest deficit, or the Phillies put up the most 9-inning runs ever in MLB postseason.
Yeah, I saw that graphic at the end of the game. And it's huge. That's a big thing to say here. Like, that's a really big thing to put out there because – it's not just, you know, they had a comeback win. They had a comeback throttling, I guess a good way to put it. Yeah. Like, they didn't just win. They didn't just come back. They put up 6 runs. Like, we're just hoping, like, all right, get to 2 runs, tie this game up. Okay, 3 runs, happy. Then they just kept tallying up. They batted around in the 9th inning. We all were ready for a 1-2-3 9th inning. Let's go tomorrow and see what happens.
And let's keep in mind, this 6 runs was without 1 home run. And Absolutely. We've said that is their bread and butter. So good on them.
The pitcher they were going up against today, I think, hasn't let a home run up in like 61 innings or something like that. So, I mean, that's a big thing. And one thing I have to say that I love about this, what we do here, is this kind of thing. So excited here in Brazil that we can sit here for guys in Brazil, girls or guys, but guys in this case, and he's excited. I love seeing Philly fans all the way in Brazil. Thanks, Pedro. Thanks for joining. Hit that subscribe button, bud.
So let's kind of look at this. First off, let's get into the line. I always do the line, and we got to do it here, but I want to make a comment about the Michael K. A-Rod announcement. Listen, I can do without that. I don't need to see the Yankees announcing Phillies games. Why can't T-Mac be employed? Well, what's going on here, man? Why am I listening to the voice of the Yankees call a Phillies playoff game?
Listen, I don't understand that, and they could tell. And I usually don't say this, but they were so for St. Louis, it wasn't even funny.
Yeah, and A-Rod's a fraud. A-Rod doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, he's an absolute fraud.
I felt like they were both very vanilla, and like A-Rod just tried to do like these spot stats, like here and there, but like outside of that, it was very, very vanilla commentary.
You know what's not vanilla commentary, gentlemen? This man, Freddie Burns, joining us. Looks like he's out in a field somewhere. Freddie, what's going on? How you feeling?
guys, that was fucking awesome. Like, are you serious? They were 93-0 going into 8. Like,
Correct.
They've net like 93-0. Like, that was amazing for my first playoff win with my family. That was so amazing. I can't be so happier. But I do have to like comment on your little announcer talk here, dude. A-Rod was awesome.
No, he was not.
He
Come
blew the
on.
Philly fans. He basically blew us about how it was the toughest place he's ever played in the playoffs ever. And then he went on to say, watching the Sixers back in the 80s, and he named all the Sixers, Dr. J, Maurice Cheeks, Bobby Jones, named them all.
He named two.
And said
He
how
named
nuts
two.
the fan base was.
He named two.
I'm
He never
gonna
mentioned Bobby
I'm
Jones. He
exaggerating.
mentioned Doc and Moses. That's it.
Oh well, there's somebody who
said
knows
Cheeks.
any
He
a
said
little bit
Maurice
about
Cheeks.
sports now.
He said Mo Cheeks.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Wow,
Cheeks
I get
and Doc, I mean, it's not like they're not almost I mean, Dr. J is a household name, and almost anybody who's watched a sport in their life. Cheeks is kind of not as
Dude,
much, but close enough.
No color
Both
announcer.
were top
Paul, time
75 NBA,
Time out,
all
time out,
NBA
time out, time out.
guys.
No color announcer talks about the Philly fans like that. None. Dude, he experienced it here. He gave us props. Stop hating on A-Rod. Like,
I'm going to hate on him all the
and
way.
that's not the
man.
first time he's done that. He's done that on Sunday Night Baseball as well. But
Listen, we can differ on this, Freddie Burns. Let's go to Freddie. Before I go to the line, I want to get your reaction to that ninth inning. We talked a little bit about the first 8. Where were you headed into the ninth inning? Were you resigned to the fact that we were going to lose this game and let's move on to tomorrow night, or did you think they had the fight to come back in that ninth inning?
I was so mad. I was so mad. I was trade Reese Hoskins was my attitude.
That was about the 4th inning, if I remember the text message correctly.
Well, like the anger level for me to not even like it was amazing. But then all of a sudden they start taking pitches, not swinging at bad pitches, doing the little things, and it's like, all right, do the little things all the time. So it was amazing. I mean, 09, 08 vibes, and it was just so awesome. It was a great first playoff game to come back there. The St. Louis fans leaving.
Oh, that was the best thing I saw. We were saying, I'm like, wow, they're down 4 runs and they're ready to run out the door. I thought that was baseball heaven, everybody. I don't think you leave down 4 runs in baseball heaven.
A comment about that. Now, did you not notice that St. Louis was not warming anybody up? I mean, they left that guy out there on that island.
I blame a lot of this loss, if I'm a Cardinals fan, on bad management in that ninth inning.
And then they got double barrel action going. It's like it's too late. Like, why are you doing that now? You should have done that 2 or 3 batters ago. Like, that is terrible. I mean, that's Joe Girardi-esque.
It most certainly is. Let me see if I can do this. Wow. They're all coming out the woodwork today. Frank Finnegan from the Patterson Ave Fanatics joins us. Frank, are you and Freddie in the same spot? I mean, you guys are both in nature, for God's sake.
I'm up at my camper at Casa Finnegan.
I
was watching the game. It was, you know what I couldn't help but think? 11 years ago, Yadi Molina kept making trips to the mound, messing up the Phillies timing at the plate. And he walked out to the plate and he was talking to the pitcher. And I'm like, you know what? Segura, just stick this right up his ass. And I mean, nothing made me happier than watching Molina lose that battle there. I can't stand Molina. He's been a burn our butt forever. He's a great player, but boy, oh boy, I was so happy to see him lose today.
How good is it to have Gene Segura, who has had one of the longest droughts to get into the playoffs, get that kind of hit in this kind of game?
I felt so good for him because I mean he was the longest standing player that never played a playoff game, and he comes in and does that. I mean, he's got to be on cloud 9 today. He's just got to be out of his mind happy. Nola's going to get his chance tomorrow. He's never played in a postseason game. How many days? Let me ask you a question. How many days off has Nola been since his last start?
Monday.
Tuesday. It was Tuesday.
Then they went
Wednesday.
No,
it was Tuesday.
They won on Monday. They clinched the game on Monday. Then they had Tuesday and Wednesday. So
he pitched Monday.
So Monday.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's on 5.
Okay, good. Because when he pitches with less than 5, he's not nearly as effective.
Yeah.
So
No, I agree. And if he pitches anywhere like he pitched on Monday, we're going to be moving on to the Braves. So,
yeah,
but I'm not going to count my chickens here.
Oh,
and the
I count
Braves.
my tickets. I already playing out where I got my playoff tickets. I'm ready to roll.
Oh man, it's it was so good to see that after watching the last time they played that team in the playoffs. I mean, I was with a room full of family down in North Carolina when it happened, and it was just really bad, But I'm so happy now. I'm so happy that the Phillies came through today. I was worried when that home run was hit. I thought, oh my God, this game's over. And then they turn around and do this, and they do it in such an unusual way. They don't normally score that way, but they just kept pecking. It was awesome.
Hey, Joe, I'm going to take you out of the stream for a minute. We're getting a lot of background noise. See if you can get that worked out. No, I agree.
A lot of happy kids.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Frank. Let's go over the line real quick, gentlemen. The Phillies would finish the day with 6 runs on 5 hits, no errors. Cardinals 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors. How the scoring went down. Yepes homered it, and then 7th inning after a great pitching battle back and forth. Phillies did blow some opportunities early in the game. Yepes gives the Cardinals a 2-0 lead, and then all hell would break loose in the 9th. Alec Bohm would get hit by that pitch to make it 2-1. The Phillies then would get Gene Segura in maybe the hit of the year at this point, scoring 2 runs to give the Phillies a 3-2 win or lead. Bryson Stott would reach on the fielder's choice to make it 4-2 and a heads-up play by Sosa at the plate. Brandon Marsh then would knock in Segura to make it 5-2. Kyle Schwarber would do enough, a sac fly, to make it 6-2. The Cardinals would come back and get a run in the 9th to make it 6-3, and that's how you had it. On offensive numbers for the Phillies, a couple things. Schwarber was 0 for 4 today with an RBI, though, with that sac fly. Rhys Hoskins just brutal at the plate today. Brutal. I mean, there's no really other thing to say about that. 0 for 5, and he's slumping hard. I don't know really what the answer here with that is. JT 1
the
for
answer
4.
here is he's not going to be back next year. I mean, I think that's the answer with that. The one thing actually probably Harper chasing after balls. I'm hoping that maybe what they saw today will kind of give them all a little pep in their step, maybe calm them down a little bit. When we know how important game 1 is. They've already announced that during the game that 70-some% or 80% of whoever wins the game 1 ends winning the series.
Right.
I get that. And maybe they knew that going into it. Maybe they had this in their head. Maybe with this W under their belt, they'll relax. He's swinging off balance. He's like, if he swung any harder, he would corkscrew himself into the ground. So I need to see Bryce kind of pump the brakes.
I think they should take Hoskins out of the top of the lineup. He's not helping.
Yeah, that might be something to look at. But he was absolutely just brutal. But JT
Segura, he was. You saw what he was trying to do with that hit too. First, he swung at ball 3 there, and I'm like, "What are you swinging at?" But he was trying to poke that thing right.
Yeah, he was trying to go the opposite way. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I agree. JT 1 for 4 with a run scored. JT's going to get lost in this, but it was his single that got things going in the 9th. When everything was kind of down, it was JT that got things going in the 9th inning, and it's going to get lost. But way to go, JT, in the most unlikely area, in my opinion, with that top of that lineup struggling as bad as they were. But kudos to JT in that situation.
Well, JT for the last 8 weeks has been a solid at bat.
Yeah,
I mean, he's played very well the second half of the season. You can't say he hasn't. He had a rough start for the season, but boy, he's finished really well. And JT, even when he's not playing well, gives you professional at bats. He doesn't stand up, and I mean, like, that's the difference between him and Hoskins. Hoskins looks like a rusty gate swinging up there sometimes. It's just like there's no.
I think with the Hoskins issue, it's simple. I think that this team has a lot of people, has a losing mentality a little bit. I think we almost saw that in September. I
think he's part of that.
Some culture changes, and I think I'm not blaming Rhys for that any which way, but he is a remnant of that time.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't come. Listen, he's a very solid first baseman, probably a good guy in the DH position, better on another team on a DH position. But, I mean, he doesn't hit well enough for me to be in the DH position every night.
Yeah.
He doesn't play defense well enough to be a first baseman every night. So maybe if you're platooning him with another first baseman somewhere and DHing, going back and forth, he could be good. And I think and nothing against him. And listen, tomorrow could be different. He could be the hero of the game. But that's just Rhys Hoskins for you. He can be 3 for 4 with 2 home runs. You don't know. And but like I said, I think no matter what, unless he went 30 for 30 and was like the king of the postseason, we won the Super Bowl. We won the World Series. He would have been then maybe he would have been kept around. But I honestly think he's gone after this year. But I don't want to. I don't want to talk about that right now. I don't want to think about that. We just we had a first playoff win.
Deal those cards. We got plenty of time to deal those cards.
Rounding out the Phillies today, Alec Bohm 1 for 3 with an RBI. Gene Segura 1 for 4 with the 2 RBIs. He gets my offensive player of the game honors. Bryson Stott was 0 for 2 with a run. For the Cardinals, obviously, Yepes with the home run was the only offense, and then that 9th inning run as well. But here's a major stat for me. Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Ariando, 2 of the biggest Philly killers there are, combined 1 for 7 with 1 run today. Definitely did the job against them, and that is a big reason why the Phillies did win this game. Pitching, Zach Wheeler, what can I say? 6 1/3, 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, was dominant. Dominant. Alvarado,
even without the strikeouts.
Yeah, he was just working every side of the plate and really mixing it up. Alvarado, half inning, obviously gave up a big 2-run home run. It was a cutter that didn't cut, gentlemen. It was right down Broadway, and it was golfed out there. What is your reaction to Alvarado, who's pitched solidly since his recall from Lehigh Valley? Is this something that he puts behind him, something that we put behind him as well, or is this the return of Jose Alvarado?
Matt, if he had the Phillies gone on to lose that game, that would have hung on him like an anchor. But because they came back and picked it up, I don't have any worry at all thinking about him going back in the game. I think he's going to get into the clubhouse and they're going to go, look, we got your back. We picked you up, and he's going to go, okay, I'm good. Let's go. And if they had lost that game, he would have definitely been thinking about it for sure.
So I want to go one step even further and say with Alvarado, this is a guy that it's been clear from the beginning of the season, even since the end of last season, that the guy wants to work his craft. Not many guys would have major league experience like he has and be willing to go into the minors and work on his craft and come back up better than he was before. This guy understands, okay, I didn't own it today. I will own it tomorrow. And that's all you need as a relief pitcher. You need to own it the next day. If you have a bad inning, you can always make it up the next day. That's the great thing about baseball. But I want to touch one quick thing about Zach Wheeler. That bases loaded jam that he got out of.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
That was huge. Huge.
Amazing. And like Alec Baum, I agree with the player of the game, Matt. That is literally taking one for the team. Taking one right, getting hit by the pitch. That is literally taking one. I've never
seen a guy fist pump getting hit in the shoulder with a 90-something. He was so excited. I've never been so excited to get beamed in the shoulder.
There's one other time I remember that happening. It was in the playoffs in the NLCS in 2008 when Chase Utley got hit in the hip, and he just starts clapping up to the first baseline. Like, he just looks at the guy, smirks, and just starts clapping up the first baseline. Like, that's a guy who's like, okay, you can hit me. That's fine. He's like, the guys behind me are going to pick me up. That's okay. So
if that little blurb at the bottom of the screen is right,
that
really hurts the Cardinals.
Sean Kilran reporting that the Cardinals have sent their closer Ryan Hesley out for X-rays to determine whether they need to place him on the IL. He was injured earlier in this week against Pittsburgh, and then that's what makes the idea of trying to have him get a 6-out save, or what is it, 5-out save?
5 outs. Yeah,
in this game was very even more confusing if you're a Cardinals fan, why the Cardinals manager was doing that. But you're right, Frank. Huge if the Cardinals lose their closer at this point.
Yeah,
And A-Rod hated that.
You know what gave me a little bit of hope, because I thought the Phillies at the end of the Houston series were down to 2 guys in the bullpen, but Robertson coming in and throwing the way he did, I was like, okay, they got another arm in there they can trust to get an out or two if they need it, and not have to lean all on Alvarado and Eflin.
As far as Robertson goes, he gets the win today. He went an inning, had 2 strikeouts. Eflin, a kind of a shaky ninth, but an effective ninth with a 6-2 lead. 1 inning, 2 hits. He gave up the run. It was earned, and he had a walk and a strikeout. For the Cardinals, Jose Quintana, 5 1/3, 2 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. Was a lot more. I think we made him look more dominant than he really is.
Yeah, but he was pulled from that game too fast. That
75 pitches.
Pulled him too fast.
75 pitches in the 5th inning. I don't know. Jordan Hicks, Gallegos, Hesley, who gets the loss, and then Palantine pitched as well for the Cardinals. And gentlemen, there you have 6-3 Phillies. And now we got to set our sights on tomorrow. 8:37 start time out there at Busch Stadium. Aaron Nola against Miles Mikolas. Let's go around the horn. I'll start with Big Al. Al, are you going to be? Is it a crucial night tomorrow? Do we need to win this game, or are you okay with the Phillies losing this game tomorrow night?
Well, I'm never okay with a Phillies loss, and that's even with 162 games in front of them. But I mean, listen, today gives you a little cushion, gives you a little comfort. So if they do lose, you know you're not totally out of it. It's not a gun to your head. But put it this way. 162 games they just finished up, right?
Oh yes, they did.
And then yes, as Matty B has just finished up as well. They also finished up a preseason, right?
Yep.
So you got all this baseball in to go home in one weekend? No, that doesn't sit well with anybody. It doesn't sit well with me. So I'm listen. Will I be pissed if they lost? Sure. As long if they put up a good fight, yeah, that's what I want to see. But ultimately, I want them to win this tomorrow. I want Sunday to be for the Birds if it can be.
Here's my feeling. Here's my feeling. I don't want to see any parts of Wainwright. I don't want to see any parts of Wainwright in Game 3.
I'll take him.
Yeah, so will I. It's 10 years later.
You know what? That guy.
We hit him up every time we played him. I'm not worried about
him this year.
Actually, I kind of wanted Wainwright to start off. I would have loved to see them go against him.
I thought it was going to be him. I did.
That's what the rumors.
Yeah, that's what I had heard late yesterday morning. I heard that, and then they changed it. So,
well, if their guy gets rung up early tomorrow, he'll be in the game anyway because they're going to throw everybody out in that game to keep it.
Listen, if anybody gets hit up and you're in St. Louis, you have to pull them, and you have to put your other starter in. I mean, we saw that with Cliff Lee. In 2009, we saw how that works out. Like you're going to put all that's do or die. There's no tomorrow. You play baseball knowing 162 games. You got wiggle room. You got this. You got that. Wiggle room stops.
Yeah, that's
There's no wiggle room.
There's no wiggle left. It's get on or get off.
So, I mean, my prediction for tomorrow is let's bring the boys home. Like they want to get home. We talked about this the other night. Is that they have been on a long road trip. They're tired of hotels. They want to go home, hug their kids, hug their wives, celebrate the next
their
round.
Wives, right?
Yeah.
He said hug their wives. Yes. Hug. I'm keeping it PG.
I got hug or hug. I couldn't hear it. It's like there's a P in there somewhere.
No, I'm keeping it PG.
Okay.
But no, hug their families and just come home because when the next series happens. Now, do we have any idea? Are we starting off in Atlanta for next?
Yeah, it should be in Philly. It should be in Philly.
Okay. So,
right, Al?
What was that?
It should be in Philly because 1 and 2 should be in Philly. 3, 4, and 5 would be in Atlanta, I think.
No. It's who has the highest seed would be 1 and 2.
So,
we would be games 3 and 4. So we would not play baseball in Philadelphia until Game 3 of next series.
But the series ain't going to start till Wednesday or Thursday, so they're going to come home first.
Would it be that late? I thought it'd be Tuesday.
I think it's like Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay.
It would be Wednesday.
That works out because that means the Phillies games that would happen would be on the weekend, most likely.
And that's what they want. That's what baseball wants to do. They want the games on the times people can watch.
Anyway,
So.
right? That's right.
But I mean, the boys want to come home. I mean, Al talked about not having a gun to your head. Let's put a gun to the Cardinals' head. Like, let's just do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not great.
I'd love Schwarber to open a game with a bomb and just put him right on their ass, right to start.
Or a hit.
Dawn has an interesting question. Would you sit Eflin tomorrow in case we go 3 so we can give you multiple innings? Listen, Dawn, I think we might have found our new closer. I don't know. I'm kind of eyeing. I like the idea of having Eflin in the back of that bullpen. He's a big game pitcher. He's a power pitcher. I say let things lie the way they are. I
want to flash people back a little bit to 2007.
Right, now he's flashing people, guys. We gotta talk about this.
Sorry. I save all the perverted stuff for tomorrow morning. Flashing you back to the 2007 Phillies, we had a guy who was a starter for a while as our closer in Brett Myers. And he was also a power pitcher, and he was effective in the back of that bullpen.
Yeah, he was.
Good job, Dawn. I agree with that. And I think that right now, going forward, into 20 again, I don't want to. We keep on jumping into 23 and talking about the future and all that, but I'm okay with Bailey Falter assuming that number 4 spot in the rotation, and then I don't know,
Ranger 3
and Ranger 3 or whatever.
Not coming. Gibby's not coming back, and they're not going to give Eflin $15 million.
I won't let Gibson back in the building.
Wait and see. I guess we're flipping too far into the future, but
he's gonna buy the van off the backup quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Gonna buy Minshew's van.
Yeah.
Like maybe they can share the same one. All right. Let's wrap this up. Al, let's talk to you about your parting shots and comments going forward. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling excited. I mean, I don't know how you're not right now. Like I said, this game was a roller coaster ride of emotions. Like, I mean, a real big drop off for a while. It was a pitcher's duel, so if you're not a big baseball fan, you're just a Phillies fan, and you're watching it, you're probably bored. I mean, my wife was watching it with me. She's sitting there going, I guess there'll be tomorrow. I'm like, the game's not over yet.
Yeah.
The game's not over yet. And that was after the 8th inning, and she goes, this is why I don't doubt you, Al. I'm like, but I said, listen, does that happen often? No. But it does happen. And when that happens, if you have any doubt of this Phillies team winning this series, take your doubts and throw them out, because this team is moving forward. They're ready. They punched him in the mouth. Now it's just time to put him down. Put old Yeller down, and that's what I'm talking about. Pujols and Molina, put him down, and let's go.
Yeah. Frank Finnegan.
I really want to see him work the pitcher tomorrow a little bit. I want to see him take the pitches. I want to see him get that early so we can have both. Because bullpen right now turned a lot of guys. So I think
Frank, we're losing you, bud. We're
losing you, Frank.
I'm looking for strikeouts from him. I really want to see Molina lose. I really, really, really want to see Molina lose.
All right, Joe Marks.
All right, 140 years of this franchise and 15 playoff appearances. It doesn't come around very often, Red October. And I was so excited before this game. Now I'm more excited after this game and after the result of this game. This has gotten me fired up so much that I'm ready. I am ready to see what comes next tomorrow night. I am ready to move on. I am ready to see this team thrive in Red October. It's just getting started, boys. Buckle up.
Yep. Let's go.
I agree.
I
agree. And you know what else is just getting started? And that would be my man, Dave Cherry. If you have any questions about workman's comp, motor vehicle accidents, personal injury, or criminal law, give him a jingle and tell him what the boys at EOP and Matty B sent you. Don't forget Philly Sports Trips. They're heading out to Arizona, or actually they're in Arizona right now. And of course, the tailgates, every home game at the Gatehouse. Check out everything Philly Sports Trips has to offer. And if you're in Delco, which I don't know why you would be, but if you are, go stop at the only bar in Delco, Dolan, and tell
I'll
them
actually be there on Sunday.
Okay, well, there you go, Al. Tell him Matty B said, hey. All right. And then this weekend, continuing coverage, pregame, postgame, halftime coverage of the Cardinals-Eagles game right here on EOP, between EOP and the Painted Lines, gentlemen. I echo your sentiments, everybody. I'm not gonna lie. I was down. I was down and out. Ninth inning, I was down. I didn't think they were gonna do it, but they did it. And you know, now we have an opportunity, and we gotta end it. We gotta end it tomorrow night, and then come home.
Take what you will, but the Philadelphia will beat the Cardinals. However you want to look at that, that's the way you look at it.
Yeah,
and I really hope
Philly over the Cardinals weekend.
Yep.
I really hope that is the case. And I want to thank you guys for joining me. I've heard from everybody except one person. Harry the K, what you got?